Good morning. My name is Anthony Martin. I'm the Director of School Resources and Support for Burton School District. Thank you for taking the time out of your morning to join us today. Today we will be reviewing some of our survey results from the most recent LCAP survey that was administered. We are offering Spanish translation. If you need that, there is the interpretation button. Our parent liaison, Maria Arroyo, will provide that for you. Se necesita español, pone el botón, se dice interpretación. So today we will share our results with you and talk about our next steps as how that will help us shape and move forward with our LCAP. So thank you again for joining us. We appreciate your time. Today's agenda, are welcome like we just had. We're going to do an overview of the survey, the questions, the number of respondents and who responded to us, an overview of the quantitative data, so the number side of things, how many participants responded in certain ways, whether that was agree, disagree, continue, increase, or decrease. And then just a brief overview and a summary of some of the themes that came up in our open-ended responses. We'll share some next steps. And then you'll see here on the screen, I have our next meetings listed. We have the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant Plan meeting that will take place on May 12th at 5:30. That is next Wednesday. And that will be an opportunity to hear about our plans for the funding that is coming in through the state to provide some of those expanded learning opportunities. And then on May 20th, we will have our next LCAP meeting where we will show how our current goals, actions, and all of that will transition into being into the new plan under our new goals and our new pillars that are tied to our strategic plan. So just a reminder, this is the first portion of the survey. We asked you to give us feedback on these various areas. We have goal 1 with the 6 actions and the summary of each of those actions: academic support staff, classified support staff, parent involvement, improving school climate, increasing attendance in the school environment, and then maintaining a safe, clean campus for our goal 1. And we asked you to rate that, whether you would like to see us continue that service, increase that service, or decrease that. Our goal 2, there are our 6 actions for that. Under our current, most recently adopted LCAP, provide a broad course of study, our district and site intervention programs, providing professional development for our staff that works with our English learners, our data and assessment tools, our software and things of that nature that help us analyze student progress, the additional time that we've added with staff, both in terms of in minutes for students and in professional development time. And then so our district support services, so business expenses to help make sure that we can pay all of the people in LCAP and make sure all the requisitions are processed. Our goal 3, our 5 areas there, we asked for the same feedback on our providing professional development to staff, our parent trainings, our capturing kids' hearts, program that we've implemented and were recently named a showcase district. And then the implementation of our teacher induction program that supports our new teachers, and our technology plan that includes our staffing, but also the professional development and software to make sure that all of those pieces work. Additionally, if you were a parent, we ask that you complete 3 additional questions that gives us additional feedback. I am satisfied with my child's education, and that is on a 4-point rating scale of strongly agree, agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. Adults at my child's school treat every student with respect, with the same opportunities to rate that. And then my child's school prepares them for the future. Lastly, in that section, we asked for our parents to provide any additional feedback in regards to actions and services that they would like to see in our district and being provided, and how we can better serve their students. So to give you an idea, our survey respondents through both English and Spanish totaled 631 parent responses, 36 student responses, 197 teacher responses, 23 responses from administrators across the district, 85 responses from our classified staff, which includes our secretarial staff, janitorial staff, bus drivers, our food service staff, nutrition services staff. All of those individuals fall into classified staff, which as of last night, when I pulled these numbers, gave us a total of 975 responses on certain questions. So moving on to goal one, if you'll remember, I shared that goal one is those first set of questions that we asked. And so that really is about providing the best academic and learning environment for students. And so goal one, action one is that academic support, intervention teachers, our coordinators and positions of that. You'll see as with all of the actions, the largest area is for us to increase or continue those services. With varying pockets of increase with slight pockets of decrease. So with action one, you can see how many respondents total, ranks, continue, increase, and decrease. To give you an idea, between the continue and the increase, in each of these categories, the lowest rating was 95%. And that would be for action three, where we have that largest bar for the decrease, which is our parent involvement plan, and so the parent trainings. That is the one that had the largest parent and community response for decrease. But you'll see the majority of the items largely have continue as the predominant answer. Action one has 66%, action two, 63%, action three, 69%, action four, 74% of our families want us to continue that. Action five, 61.5%, and that is the lowest. But the reason for that is the increase is also the highest, with 36.6% of our families or our respondents asking for that to be increased. And our last one, 74%. So looking at this, action five, this one right here, is our goal or our action that is to increase attendance and school environment. And so we have under there listed our school psychologists, our counselors, and attendance incentives. And there are some other things that are included in there, such as any type of support that we provide for those type of programs, our social emotional learning and things of that nature are all located in here. And you will see that that's the largest area with the response as far as percentage goes to increasing that service. The second area we see that would be our action two, which is our classified support staff and the instructional support staff that we provide. That has the second one. Now, from this, we received 110 comments in this section on goal one. Some of those themes that we saw were social emotional learning, or SEL, and mental health. So our psychologists, counselors, and social workers supports. Those supports need to be increased and implemented district-wide. We also saw that with the data piece that we just talked about, with that one action having the largest percentage of increase. And that is directly tied to that particular comment. Our second theme that emerged, where we had numerous comments related around this, regarded academic interventions and supports need to be available to students, both during the school day and after the school day. Again, we saw some of that on the increase with the rankings on the previous page. And lastly, another major theme from the comments was school climate, safety, and maintenance of facilities need to be continued and services increased. None of the comments when it came to the maintenance and the school climate were about decreasing. It was about increasing what we're already doing to improve that school climate and improve the look and feel of our campuses. Goal two. Our goal two in the district is providing a child-centered education, a child education focused on the whole child. And so you'll see our feedback here. Item 2.1 is our provide a broad course of study. And what that includes in the districts is our field trips, in particular our trip to SciCon, various supplemental materials to support programs in the classroom. You will see that there are a large number of continue, but you will see by and large, that is the area that we have feedback from our community that they would like to see increased. We'll talk about some of the comments that were made in there, but it's very clear from the data on this screen that not only do the majority of our families want us to continue, but a large portion also want us to increase those services. 46.2% of our respondents want that to be increased. District Insight interventions, you'll see there's a large number there that would like to see an increase as well. On that one is 29%, with 67% of our families showing that they want it to continue. English learner professional development, you'll see is high as well in the continue and increase. Our Action 4, which is our data and assessment tools, has a large number there. We're at 70% on the continue and 24% on the increase. And then our additional time, so that instructional minutes that we've added over the years, and then also the time we've added for our staff to receive professional development and collaborate with one another. That has been, as you can see, we have 648 respondents that would like us to continue that, and then another 286 that would like us to increase it. And our last column here is our district support services. Primarily funded out of this is our business support services that we provide in regards to LCAP. So that's processing requisitions to make sure that we have the materials for students. That's ensuring that the staffing that we have included in our LCAP are able to be paid through our payroll staff, and processing all of those pieces. 76%, almost 77% of our respondents wanted that to continue, with 168 or 29% wanting to see that increase. Some of the main comments, the themes in the comments that go along with that data, as you will see, as you saw on the previous slide, our 2.1, which includes our field trips, had the largest percentage of desire to be increased. 46.2% of our respondents wanted to see that increased. And that was also reflected very much so in the comments that we saw. One in the comments, the type of comments that was seen very frequently throughout, about 110 comments as well, was the increased opportunities for students to experience opportunities outside the classroom, including field trips and other school activities. So the theme of the comments were that kids need to have experiences outside of just the classroom setting, whether that is through sports, that is after school activities, or the opportunities to take field trips out of our area to be exposed to things that they may not otherwise be able to access. Another piece that came up that is very closely related to providing that broad course of study is additional learning opportunities for students. So while the other ones looked for opportunities outside the classroom, there were a significant number of comments that were talking about curricular or classroom opportunities for students. And those included language classes, specifically Spanish language classes being offered on multiple campuses through a variety of grade ranges, and even on those campuses where they're at already increasing that service. Increase in the availability and accessibility of the arts programs across the district, and then other various electives were suggested by people, but with the theme being that students have additional learning opportunities. And then another key theme, which ties in with both the broad course of study, but also our district insight intervention programs, is how do we continue to increase the support for our struggling students, in particular with the year that we have faced with COVID. That was a very common theme for our families and our respondents in the document on let's make sure that we're providing the supports that we need to, and that way those students don't fall further behind. Goal 3, our goal 3 is surrounding our professional development and training that we provide not only for our staff, but for the opportunities for our parents to participate in trainings as well. And so action one is that professional development that we provide directly to our staff members, includes the training costs, the subs, and the actual any additional hours that may be required. On that one, 65% of our respondents would like us to continue, with 27% wanting to see us increase that. We do have those small pockets you'll see in each area that represents roughly 6 to 7% of our numbers as far as wanting the services to decrease, with the predominant of our respondents wanting them to continue and increase. Action two in this area is our parent trainings. And you'll see we have about 67, 68% there with 677 people responding to that. You'll see we had 234 parents, or 24% of our respondents indicate that they would like to see an increase. Again, with about 6 to 7% wanting to see a decrease in that service. Our action three is our capturing kids' hearts. As I mentioned, we have been the last couple of years named a showcase district for our Capturing Kids' Hearts program, and that is the manner in which we treat and interact with students and individuals as they come in our campus. 67% of our respondents would like to see that continue. 23% would like to see that increased, with about 9% actually wanting to see that decreased. With that decrease, there were comments that were attached of that if we decrease, then we need to supplement with an additional program or look at expanding and looking at utilizing different programs. Action four is the implementation of our teacher induction program. You will see that there is a large support there. 78% of our respondents want us to continue that program, with another 17, almost 18% wanting us to increase that program and offer additional services through our induction program, and just about 4% asking us to decrease those services. And our last area on this goal is action number 5, which is our implementation of our technology plan. We've seen this year how critical that technology availability and training and resources have been to be able to stay connected with students. You will see that 668 of our respondents, or about 68%, responded we need to continue that. You'll also see that in the increase, that is the largest number of respondents on this particular goal, with about 28% of our respondents wanting us to increase our availability of technology and the professional development surrounding that, and just about 3% asking us to decrease those services. Some of the common themes, again, capturing kids' hearts is important and should continue. There were some comments that said that we need to look at what we do beyond capturing kids' hearts and how we support those students at that point and the environment. But by and large, the comments throughout were that continuing and fully implementing capturing kids' hearts is important to our staff and families and should continue. Teacher support and training that is targeted, specific, and ongoing. This was a common theme in the feedback on the comments in this section, that we need to continue to provide and increase the specificity of our trainings. So, and examples that were given were on technology. So examples of that were Canvas and various platforms that we are using. But other examples of that we saw in the comments were that we need to provide additional training for our staff and our families on socio-emotional learning. There were other examples, but by and large, it was about being supportive and providing training that is very specific and targeted and ongoing. And then another comment that popped up several times in this section that is directly related to the teacher induction program and is tied to that spot where we see that want to increase that. And that is the addition of special education to the teacher induction program. Our teacher induction program has started as a general education credential only. And so our staff would like to see us have the opportunity to expand that to our special education teachers as well. Our next section is for those parent questions. Again, we have fewer respondents here because we were only looking for parent responses. And so these were optional questions. We had approximately just under 800 people fill this out for this section. And you will see that it is on a 4-point scale. We removed the middle point this year to get rid of the neither agree nor disagree, that middle spot where parents or whoever is taking the survey can indicate that they're kind of in the middle. We wanted to have clear feedback on whether or not parents agreed or disagreed with the following statements. And so you'll see the statements on the screen. The first one is, I am satisfied with my child's education. From that response, we had 276 responses of strongly agree and another 457 responses of agree. Between these two categories, that represents 92% of our respondents. And so in those two categories, 92% of our parents indicated that they either agree or strongly agree that they are satisfied with their child's education. That does mean 8% disagree or strongly disagree with that. And so we will be working to find ways to make sure that those parents and those families do feel like they are satisfied with their child's education. Our second area, adults at my school, treat every student with respect. You will see here that we have the largest area of strongly agree, and then we have a very large area of agree, and our disagree is actually the lowest area across the board on this slide, and then a very small group of strongly disagree. Our agree and strongly agree categories make up 94.5% of our respondents in this category. And this shows us that this is an alignment with our Capturing Kids' Hearts initiatives, as well as the social emotional learning that we have been pushing throughout the school year. Our final question in this area, my child's school prepares them for the future. 283 respondents strongly agree, and 445 of our respondents agree, giving us a total of 91.9 or just under 92% in that category, with again, about that 8% either disagreeing or strongly disagreeing. Parents, again, had the opportunity to continue to provide us additional feedback in written form after these questions. And so this parent section comments, it was a nice opportunity to hear some of the appreciation for our school staff and the support that they give. There were a number of comments thanking particular school sites or principals for the environments that they've created, or specific teachers for the work they've done this year. There was also a clear appreciation for students being back in person for learning, and parents being glad that students had the opportunity to return to in-person learning. There is a clear theme, not just in this area, but as throughout our presentation today, that our respondents, or in this case, our parents, would like to see us continue providing those key critical mental health and counseling support features for our students. That came out multiple times in this section, in addition to the previous sections. Additional student academic interventions. Again, this has been a theme in multiple areas. Parents being concerned that their students are falling behind, whether that's due to COVID or not, but ensuring that those interventions are in place for our students when they do start to fall behind. And a theme in this area, as well in others, is increased opportunities for Spanish classes at all grade levels. This was, in fact, those words were used, the all grade levels, more than once. And so our parents in this section would like to see us increase those opportunities for our students to have that Spanish language instruction, so that we're able to provide that opportunity for students. Our last section was for anyone taking the survey to provide us any additional comments about anything within the district. And so some of those comments mirrored those in previous ones. I wanted to include them because they were themes in this area and they were repeated, even though we've said them previously. So one major theme was increased opportunities after school. This wasn't just in regards to an after school program, but also in regards to after school sports and other activities for students to have outside that normal school day and outside of the normal school classroom. Additional Spanish classes, again, this came up in this area again, as it did in the previous section, a clear desire from those respondents, that those who took the time to give written responses, that Spanish classes for our students is something that our community would like to see. Increased student activities, again, the first one was specifically around after school, but these are activities both during the school day and outside of the school day. And again, we saw that earlier when we talked about the additional electives, the additional field trips. And then a theme that we've seen in multiple places again is to continue to improve our school facilities and school climate. So increasing the level of quality of our fields even more than we already have, increasing supports for students on the campus to make sure that they feel welcomed and supported at the school environment, and that they have individuals who they can go to get that support. Those were additional themes that we saw through this section. So next steps. Our next steps as the district is we take this information and then we are using that as well as feedback from our other various stakeholders throughout the district. And we'll begin transitioning now from these old LCAP goals that you took the survey on to then align these with our district's strategic plan that was adopted last year. And so our next LCAP meeting on May 20th, it will be the opportunity to see how that transitions, to see how we're going to take all of these areas that we've heard you as our community want us to continue and increase. How are we going to make them fit into our new plan? And then how are we going to provide those services for students and staff in a way that is consistent with that strategic plan? Our next meeting will show you how that transition happened and show you how we take this data and utilize that to drive that conversation. Another opportunity for you to participate and to learn about the services we're providing for students is our Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant Plan meeting. That takes place next Wednesday, May 12th at 5:30. And what that is that is some of the one-time funding that we have received to provide additional services to our students and our families outside of the traditional school day or school year. Some of the major ways in which we will be utilizing this is providing summer programs to our students, as well as providing after-school intervention in the fall, and then potentially again next summer, additional summer school programs, again with the hopes of ensuring students have the opportunity to make up some of that seat time or in-class time that they were not able to partake in this year due to COVID. The other pieces that I would like to talk about real quick before I pop the poll up on your screen right now is it is important to note that there are things that we have heard in this LCAP survey that may not be included, that may be paid for with other funds. With the one-time funding that we're receiving right now, it gives us the opportunity to provide some of these services with that instead of using LCAP funds. So it is important to remember that just because an item isn't in LCAP doesn't mean that the district isn't providing it. It just means that it may be being utilized with different funds. And some examples of that are the way we fund some of our psychologists, as well as some of our other mental health staff and support structures within the district are funded out of those one-time funds and may not appear in the LCAP, but those services are being increased in certain areas next year as a result of both this feedback and staff feedback throughout the year. Right now, if you would please take a moment to take the poll that has popped up on your screen. It is a 2-quick question poll that asks you to indicate if you are a parent, teacher, administrator, classified staff member, or a community member. And then also if you would indicate which school campus you are connected with, or if you are connected to the district as a whole. So you should be seeing that poll on your screen now. If you would please take a quick moment to complete that, it would be greatly appreciated. and we'll leave that open for about a minute. All right, thank you for that, taking the time for that. And then when we conclude the survey, when we conclude the webinar, there should be a link to a survey that pops up. If you would please take a moment to complete that. That again is another opportunity for you to provide additional feedback to us as a district. And my closing thoughts, our LCAP survey, this data that I shared with you today, provides the district with valuable feedback and information that helps support with the decision-making as to what services will be provided for the upcoming school years. It gives us the opportunity to hear your voice, and your feedback and input is invaluable to this process. We cannot do this without the support and the time that you have given us to take these surveys. It allows us to hear from you directly as the end users of our district and as those parents and staff members who are interacting with students on a daily basis. So I would like to thank you for this information and for the feedback that we receive, because this not only allows for us to plan for our LCAP, but it allows for us to have data that shows other areas we can improve, as well as other ways we can spend funding outside of the local control accountability plan and LCAP funds. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on the screen. It's anthony.martin@burtonschools.org, or feel free to reach out to my office at 782-5954, and that'll take you to our student services office, and they will be able to connect you with me. Again, I want to thank you for your time today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll leave the webinar open for a couple minutes in case there are any questions that anyone would like to ask that I can respond to. Otherwise, this concludes our webinar for the day. Thank you and have a wonderful day.